Right in the middle of a school lesson, Kang Hansu and his classmates are suddenly transported to another world. They are summoned by a goddess to help save this world from the demon lord and his army of monsters. She promised superpowers for everyone, and the chance to save thousands of innocent people. And when they will defeat the demon lord, she will send them all back home. Everyone except our hero agrees to her terms, but Kang Hansu firmly states that he wants to go home, no matter what the goddess offers. Surprisingly, the goddess agrees to let him go, and even asks the others if there are any more weaklings among them so she can send them all back together. Kang Hansu has no friends in his class, and no one wants to join him, so he hurries back home alone, and that's when an unexpected twist awaits him. The portal drops him in a place completely unfamiliar, and shit only gets crazier from there. He sees rabid humanoid beasts enslaving an elf woman, and now all their eyes are set on him. Their malicious intentions are obvious from their demeanor, and Hansu begins to panic, frozen on the spot. He knows he's royally screwed. So, he does the only thing that makes sense in this insane situation. He runs the hell away as fast as he can. Because if he doesn't, he's freaking doomed. All the students are teleported to a sanctuary city. Proglonia, the saintess of the Grand Temple, welcomes the heroes who have arrived in the Fantasia dimension. Several other gods are present as well. She introduces herself and shares that she has been expecting all of them after receiving the oracle from the goddess. She educates the students about another god, Alsus, a swordmaster and prince of the Swordmaster Kingdom, who will serve as their swordsmanship instructor. The girls are excited to see him, captivated by his handsome appearance. Suddenly the saintess inquires of the headmaster about the prince. The princess would speak up, but at that moment, the princess arrives. She exclaims that she ended up falling asleep after drinking too much. The saintess remarks that Princess Athena's honesty is both a virtue and a flaw, advising her not to mention the second part. Suddenly, the princess collapses. The heroes are shocked by this sight. Some of them compliment her on her beauty. Athena Archmazing, the princess of the Archmazing Kingdom, is also introduced as the magic instructor for the heroes. The saintess informs the heroes that Princess Athena, along with Prince Alsus, will assist them. At that moment, Han Wu, who had opened the status window and shared the information with others, states that they will experience similar situations as they level up and enhance their skills. He is closely observing and attempting to understand his status window. He has received the hero blessing, which auto-translates languages. He perceives it as a cheat-like ability, but is concerned due to the fact that many competitors have received the same blessing. While observing, Choi Kang-min queries the saintess as to why the goddess instructed them to receive God's blessings and how they would go about doing so. She explains that to receive a blessing, one must earn the favor of a god, as each god has their own set of criteria. Suddenly, they are all notified that a god is scrutinizing the heroes' bodies with a perverse smile. They are all taken aback by this. The saintess explains that every god has their own standards, but each one is searching for the one who will defeat the great demon king. She also reassures them that the gods are indeed watching them, but cautions that their attention will not last forever. She wishes them the best of luck. One of the students inquires if it is possible to receive any blessing. The saintess smiles and dismisses the notion, stating that she has no interest in dealing with trash. The students are left feeling uneasy. Their adventure in the fantasy world, full of hopes and dreams, is about to begin. Simultaneously, on the other side, Kang is running for his life, pursued by monsters. Kang is extremely exhausted, so he stops to catch his breath. Suddenly, the monsters hurl an arrow toward him. They are closing in, intent on devouring him. Kang concludes that there is no need to overthink things. Creatures like these don't exist on Earth. He begins to believe that the goddess tricked him and never intended to send him back in the first place. He resumes running, telling himself that if this is a fantasy world, there should be some sort of miraculous event to save him. Just then, a status window suddenly appears in front of him. He is curious about why a hero is categorized under the curse category. He suspects this is a malicious attempt to get rid of him, and is still in disbelief about receiving such a penalty. He notices the auto-translation feature and realizes that he might be able to communicate with them. He shouts at them, asking them to discuss the situation. The monsters begin crying out, startled that the meat is speaking. Kang mutters that he's simply going to see his parents, and begs for mercy. Suddenly, an arrow strikes him in the leg. He notices numerous fairies shooting arrows at the monsters. He believes a battle between these fantasy creatures has broken out, and seizes the opportunity to flee. Overcome by pain, he swears he will never pray to the goddess again. Meanwhile, a god is watching him. He is suddenly notified that a specific god is peeking at him. Kang decides that he would rather die than pray to God. Suddenly, a specific god approaches him. He pleads, not understanding what is happening, but begs to be saved. He feels that his body is moving faster than his mind can process, responding to an unknown voice. He is notified that the god is questioning why he is alone. Kang is about to provide an answer but hesitates, realizing he cannot tell the truth. He wonders if this voice belongs to the same goddess or perhaps one of her allies. Desperate, he pleads for salvation, overwhelmed by the pain, and asks if any other god will intervene. he receives a notification that a particular god is skeptical, muttering that it's unlikely any other god would be present. They add that it's probably a good thing the others are absent. Kang, in pain, then asks if the god is an outsider. The god is unfamiliar with the term outsider. Kang believes he made a mistake in his choice of words, thinking that in his language, it means someone who is outside of social circles. He fears explaining it could invite a curse once again. Instead, he says that an outsider is akin to a lone wolf roaming through the wilderness. He is then notified that the particular god appreciates this definition. Kang, relieved, requests to be saved once more. After a moment, the god asks if Kang is truly an outsider. Kang isn't, but he lies, claiming that he too is an outsider, explaining that his classmates were summoned to the temple while he was left alone. The god seems confused by this explanation. Kang insists that it is common sense for an outsider to assist another outsider, but now the god is suggesting that this doesn't apply to him, as he is a god. After a moment's reflection, the god decides to help the poor outsider. Using its power, the god magically removes the arrow from Kang's leg. Kang feels the intense pain vanish entirely. His body feels lighter as well. Grateful, he thanks the god. Then, he notices his status window, which now lists outsider next to blessing. Curiously, he reads that something terrible will happen if the lone wolf leaves the wilderness. He is confused by this message. Kang turns to the god and inquires if, upon ceasing to be an outsider and becoming an insider, he will be judged. The god replies, emphasizing that they will only assist an outsider. At that moment, the monsters begin to observe him as he flees. Kang resumes running for his life, feeling the message that he is exempt from all statuses except death, thanks to the god's blessing. His fatigue vanishes, and he no longer feels tired. Meanwhile, the monsters are growing exhausted and are unable to continue chasing him. Suddenly, one of the monsters throws a stone at Kang, but it misses, and he keeps running. He silently thanks the god as he feels rejuvenated. Later, he receives another notification from the god, assuring him that he will not die from a mere stone. Kang expresses his gratitude. Finally, Kang reaches a cliff's edge, and as the message suggested, he realizes that all statuses except for death will be reset. He believes that as long as he isn't killed outright, even critical wounds will heal. In a moment of uncertainty, he asks the god if he would survive a fall from the cliff. The god responds, informing him that the height will be fatal if he falls. Worry takes hold of Kang. Meanwhile, the monsters close in. Now cornered, with the cliff before him and the monsters behind, Kang decides to make a move. He shouts at the monsters, offering them a proposal. He tells them he knows they're hungry, but there's not enough food for all of them. Instead, he offers a deal. Whoever catches him first will get to feast on his delicious meat. The monsters, excited by the thought of catching Kang first, rush toward him eagerly. Kang observes their fixation on his meat and thinks to himself that although he does not mind the attention, it's clear these creatures are obsessed. With a smile, he decides to fall from the cliff, dragging the monsters along in pursuit. After some time, he opens his eyes to find that he hasn't died. His body feels as if it's been crushed, but he believes that might just be his imagination. Slowly, he stands up, surprised that he's still alive. Suddenly, a notification appears, informing him that a particular god is impressed by the outsider's incredible survivability. Just as he processes this, one of the monsters approaches him, intending to feast on his flesh. Kang notices the status window of the creature, Blue Moon's butcher, and deduces that his survival, despite lacking any blessings, has made him an intriguing target. In many fantasy RPG worlds, characters level up by gaining experience from defeating powerful foes. Higher-level enemies offer more experience points, which makes them far more valuable to take down. Kang picks up a nearby stone, using it to strike the monster and successfully kill it. Meanwhile, back with the students, the Saintess informs them that leveling up and receiving blessings are two key ways to grow stronger. One can level up by gaining experience from slaying beings that possess status windows, or they can earn blessings directly from the gods. Choi Kang-min, confident in his abilities, decides to pray to the gods, requesting a blessing to enhance his strength. Just as he does, the Saintess interrupts, reminding the students that receiving a blessing doesn't mean the process is over. Gods will constantly be watching over them, observing their actions. Yubora raises her hand, looking confused, and asks if this means the gods will keep an eye on them all day, every day. The Saintess nods in confirmation. Some students feel self-conscious at the thought that the gods might be watching them even in their most private moments, such as while bathing or attending to their personal business. At this point, the Saintess clarifies, addressing their concerns, and explains that gods are not human beings. She asks them not to judge gods based on human standards. Some gods, speaking through the status windows, assure Yu Bo-ra that they have no interest in observing such mundane activities. Suddenly, Jang Maon, or Ibor as she's known, is singled out by the gods. They make it clear that they will grant better blessings to those they find interesting. Some gods express admiration for her actions, and as a result, she receives a blessing. She beams with happiness, though the students wonder what she will do with this newfound power. It becomes clear when the blessing manifests charm. a power that causes her body to radiate a captivating fragrance, constantly increasing the chances of attracting the opposite